Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, major changes coming to MSNBC as they get ready to be spun off into an independent company away from Comcast's NBC Universal. And with that comes a name change and some big changes with staffing. They're going to lose access to many parts of what they've traditionally used to do news broadcasts, including their studios they're losing. We'll tell you everything happening there and more in a quick second. Disney is launching 2 new 24/7 channels on Disney Plus. You got some new lean back experiences, including a special back to school channel with back to school specials on it. And ESPN and Disney are facing a massive $200 million lawsuit arguing they stole technology. We'll break that all down and more in a few seconds, give you my opinion on these. But if you want to learn more about these stories and come up with your own opinion, check out the show notes and in the first pinned comment, I'll put a link to each story I'm about to talk about so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinions. I would really love to hear from you. If you like what we do here and you want to support us, consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so they recommend our content to more people. With that said, let's dive into it. Yesterday, we learned officially what the new MSNBC name will be. Now, it's going to be called MS Now. Now, that's kind of familiar. You probably heard NBC Now, different things. But that's the abbreviated version of their full new name. And I want to hear what you think of this name. The new name from MSNBC will now be called My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. Abbreviated to MS Now with that. A couple things here. MSNBC is solidly stuck in second place now, distant second place to Fox News. CNN is a distant third to MSNBC and Fox News. With this, it'll be very interesting to see what changes they have. By the end of the year, Comcast will spin off MSNBC into an independent company. With this, MSNBC will need to move studios, leaving the NBC studios for a newly rented one as they build a new set of studios for MSNBC. And they're being fully rebranded away from that. Part of this will be the Peacock logo you've seen used for some time on MSNBC, Golf Channel, and others will also be removed from this. And MSNBC will need to find their own staffing. So with this, they will also be hiring, or are hiring according to CNBC, about 100 new employees to build out their own newsroom. MSNBC has traditionally used the NBC newsroom, the same one that produces NBC Evening Cast and the like. Well, they technically have always been separate operations. There's been a lot of crossover in the past. MSNBC is going to lose access to NBC News' staff and newsrooms and resources, and to replace that, they're hiring about 100 people to try to build their own. It's going to be very interesting to see what MSNBC looks like. There's been a lot of hints of big changes coming to it. Not just over at MSNBC, but they also announced that the Golf Channel, USA, and others will be getting some new logos, removing the Peacock from it. USA will, for the sports they're keeping, are going to launch a new sports brand called USA Sports. No longer will they be under the NBC Sports brand either, and they're going to lose access to some of the NBC Sports correspondence with this. Overall, I'm very interested to see how this plays out. Increasingly, there's 2 reasons people watch television or pay for live television. Sports, number 1, and a distant number 2 is news. But news has been struggling as increasingly people are going to free sources, whether it be YouTube, social media, different news websites, and more to get their news. The need for a 24/7 news channel like MSNBC is still important, but not what it used to be. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Look for big changes to come soon. They say in the weeks to come we'll learn more. We'll be watching it closely and giving you an update as we learn more. All right, next up, Disney Plus is adding 2 new free 24/7 channels, including a channel dedicated to back-to-school Simpsons episodes. Now, this 24/7 channel will air from all the Simpsons seasons, classic school-related episodes of The Simpsons as a special back-to-school. Did your kids go back yet? Just happened where I live in Michigan this week. And I know other places have been in school for a couple weeks now. Are your kids back in school? Let me know. So check that out. They're expanding that. But we're also getting ready for fall sports. And Disney has launched a new 24/7 sports channel, the Sports Stories, which celebrates a lot of their content like the Mighty Ducks, Rookie of the Year. Anybody remember the Rookie of the Year classic Disney movie, and more. Disney's been putting their toes into live 24/7 channels, these so-called lean back channels they call them, where you can get like 24/7 Simpsons episodes and more. They have a Disney Junior focused one and a Disney Classic channel that airs Disney shows, animated ones from the late 90s, early 2000s. Get a lot of things like Doug and even some earlier 90s content like DuckTales and more on it. I'm kind of surprised Disney's not doing more. When they shut down, the ABC app, it used to have quite a few channels like this, and they promised they'll get moved over to probably Disney Plus and others. That has not happened yet. We'll keep an eye on it, but Disney Plus slowly expanding its lineup of live channels, this time with 2. All right, speaking of Disney, Disney's facing a lawsuit along with ESPN over alleged trade secret theft that could cost ESPN $200 million. We'll see if they really get that. Even if they do win this case and Disney has to fork over money, doesn't mean that they're going to get the full $200 million requested. According to a report from Sportico, Sports Bumble, I hope I say that, Bubble, I think it is actually, has launched a lawsuit against Disney over their Where to Watch. Disney, with much fanfare on ESPN's website, now tells you how to watch different sporting events, and then they include links to those sporting events. Apparently, they had some discussions with this company, and they're being accused of basically not following through on any contract with them, but taking the technology that they saw from that company and using it to build their own versions of it over at ESPN. It'd be very interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know the full specifics on what exact technology, but the idea of being able to claim technology rights for just saying, hey, the Michigan Wolverines are playing Wisconsin on Saturday at 3 p.m. or something. We'll see how this plays out. But if they did do it, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Disney was very excited about this. Why? Because they get a lot of affiliate money by if you go to their website and say, oh, well, this is available on Fubo or DirecTV or Sling TV, etc. They can get a lot of affiliate related revenue from that. We'll see how it plays out with it. But for now, these lawsuits take forever and a day to go through. Don't expect to hear anything soon unless Disney tries to settle it soon. Sometimes they will do that just because they say it's cheaper to do that than it is to pay all their lawyers. Keep that in mind. All right, next up, Fubo and DAZN announced a multi-year partnership. Hey, Canadian fans, this is for you. I know a lot of Canadians are there. Let me know, are you from Canada? This will deliver new sporting options, a new package up there in Canada for Canadian subscribers. I'll give you access to like Live Golf, a bunch of soccer, as American fans call it, football, as the rest of the world calls it, and other sporting events streaming online to Canadian viewers. Canada, I know a lot of you viewers have complained a long time about not having as many streaming options. Here's a new one from Fubo to try to give you more access to sports content over there. Canada is a trickier situation. A lot of it's caused by Canadian laws that are designed to protect its market from being overrun by U.S. streaming services and U.S. content. Their cable networks are prohibited from showing more than a certain percentage of U.S. content. They have to produce so much Canadian content. Leo Laporte, I think, was a very famous case of this. He had a call for help tech show in the United States when Tech TV shut down. That show was canceled. It was still popular on the Canadian version of that network. And so he flew up to Canada and hosted it, but was technically a special guest on the show. And everybody else had to be replaced by Canadian employees and Canadian guest co-hosts and more with it. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But Fubo is entering the Canadian market, bringing you more streaming. I hope we'll see more and more streaming options come to our Canadian viewers. Are you from Canada? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I know a lot of you watch the show. I see the stats. Let me know. All right, next up, DirecTV is adding more local channels to its My News package. Now, this is a $39.99 package. It gives you like MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, and more streaming, including C-SPAN channels with it, plus locals. But not all locals are included. DirecTV's been slowly adding more and more locals to it. It's kind of an interesting group of different local channels here. We heard from multiple readers over the last couple of weeks, and it seems to be growing that they're seeing more and more news channels. Most recently, it seems like a big group of ABC channels have been added, but we also heard about CBS, Fox, and NBC channels being added there too. Your experience will vary depending on where you live and how many channels you get, but if you need local channels streaming, you can't get them with an antenna or some other issue preventing you, this could be one of the cheapest ways to get your locals. They're definitely leaning the fact that, hey, you're getting your locals, you're getting your national news. There's a lot of people, like I said, sports and news are the two reasons people watch local news. DirecTV is hoping a $40 package will attract a lot of people to subscribe to their DirecTV stream for their My News package on it. Let me know, do you subscribe to any of those? Do you like it? Are you a DirecTV fan? Leave me a comment, let me know. Speaking of local stations, 27 local Fox stations will get to keep their Fox programming after a deal was reached with Gray Media. Now, Gray Media, one of the larger owners of TV stations across the country, yesterday announced a renewal of its contract with Fox to offer Fox programming on its local Fox affiliates. There's been a lot of rollover recently. Miami losing some stations. I think it was Atlanta losing its CBS station, a new one launching over the weekend recently. Well, good news for Gray Media stations. If you have a Fox affiliate from them, they will retain their Fox programming. Increasingly, a lot of movement here. I'd be interested to see if ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC start trying to pull back some of these stations and launch their own Fox affiliates in different markets and more, cutting out the middleman. We'll wait and see what happens on that. But for now, good news for Gray Media Fox station owners. You get to keep your local Fox affiliate. All right, a big reboot is still in the works. We heard about this some time ago, but that Family Matters is in the works for a reboot. The popular TV show out there is reportedly going to get an animated, or could get an animated reboot. Let me be very clear here. With a modernized version of the beloved sitcom in the works, with some of the original cast members signed on to voice their characters again, this time in animated form. A few things here. Not a done deal, but apparently they're getting pretty close. It's being to having some type of package. They're shopping it around. The question is who will be interested. And according to a report, let me make sure I give you the right, from Entertainment Weekly, an interview from Bryton James, who's leading this push, or one of the original characters there, is hoping to get this off the ground. Let me know what you think. An animated version of Family Matters. It was a hit show. It still is a hit show to this day. In a day and age, we talked about this a lot. Why are there so many reboots? And there's one reason. It is more expensive now than ever before to produce new shows. And with most new shows failing, going back to the well of a proven show like Family Matters, we just saw that with King of the Hill's new season being a rousing success here. Honestly, I'll be honest, hey, Family Matters, if you're all the people behind this, take a look at what King of the Hill did on their one. I was very impressed with the new season. It was new, but it definitely kept its roots in the original show. With that though, a lot of TV executives are liking these reboots because they're more of a sure thing. You have a built-in audience excited about it, and new technology, new times, new abilities to produce shows may allow you to have a show that you wanted to do earlier but couldn't quite make it work. Now we're going to see more and more of these, because why take a risk on an unknown show when you can just reboot an existing proving thing? And that's why we're seeing so many of those. What do you think of that? Now, if it's a show you like, I bet you like it. If it's a show you didn't, you're probably like, why won't they make a new show that I like? Let's be honest, there's legitimate points of view on both there. All right, today in TV history, 28 years ago on VH1, a little show called Behind the Music premiered. It became a cultural phenomenon, in the day and age before YouTube, before social media, when really all you knew about your music stars was what you heard on the radio, maybe a magazine interview with them or something. But it was very polished, very clean, very scripted, controlled information. Behind the Music kind of peeled back the curtain, giving a more of a personal look at many popular musicians, their stories, both good and bad with it. Became a huge hit. They still make some of them. I think Paramount has an original version, or had it for a while, for Paramount Plus of this. But Behind the Music, let me know, were you a fan of it? It was groundbreaking for the time it came out. In a day and age where ability to learn about your favorite musicians was still very much controlled by just a few sources. All right, next up, AT&T customers may be eligible for up to $7,500 in rebates and cash payments from a $177 million data breach settlement. Now, let's be honest, you're probably not going to get anywhere near all that money. They usually don't. But this is a big settlement here. This comes from a data breach that happened over AT&T, and they've settled a class action lawsuit on it with it. Check out the show notes down below. You may be able to claim some of that. You'll find out if you're eligible and what you need to know about in our story. Also, T-Mobile must pay $92 million in FCC fine for illegally selling customer data. Now, this is kind of an interesting one. It's a combined one over T-Mobile and Sprint. Remember when T-Mobile took over Sprint, they're absorbing some of the liability there, and this one kind of bit them. They challenged it, but the court has ruled that they must pay the FCC fine for illegally sharing your location. A lot of places do this. They sell your location data and other things with it, where they come on and they say, hey, you know, you're close to this local Ford dealership. Don't you want to buy a Ford from XYZ Ford dealership, whatever it may be? Or, hey, maybe you're traveling and you're buying an amusement park. Hey, we're seeing your vacation. Why not head over to Gatorland or something with that? Be interested to see how this plays out, but T-Mobile going to pay out big for their sharing of your location data. Now, pretty much everybody does it. Technicalities got T-Mobile here. Doesn't mean they're going to stop doing it. They're just going to have to be a little bit more careful in how they do it with that. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. It's been a busy week in the world of cord cutting. I expect busy news all week. Make sure you head over to corecardsnews.com. Check out all of our stories there. We post a lot there that never make it here on the YouTube video. Also, did you know we send out a free newsletter every day with links to stories like this one, like all these we talked about and more, so you get them all in your email. You know, maybe you're listening to me in the car or on the bus or just at work, and later you want to go back and look at one of the stories, check your email. In our show notes, we put a link to sign up for our free daily newsletter where you get all these emails and more sent to your email box. Well, that's it for today. Take care. Be safe. I hope you all have a fantastic day.